So hello,
Okay.
everyone. To add to that, if you guys have any questions, if you could just put them into the chat. We have people that are following the chat that could bring the questions over, and we'll make sure that they get answered. And we also have some pre-submitted questions that have come in, so we'll answer those as well. But let's get started. I'm going to give you a little bit of a background of Laylee, because what we're going to do is we're going to go into her accomplishments, which I think she's very inspiring, and I think she has a motivational message, and I think the world can use that right now. So we're going to go into speaking about how Laylee has overcome obstacles when facing adversities. But thank you for joining us for our first Influential Voices. It's a new speaker series sponsored by the Cultural and Natural History Collections at the University of La Verne. Our goal is to introduce you to people who have made a difference, from innovators to influencers, whose work has helped transform the world and corrected cultural inequities. Firstly, we'd like to thank University of La Verne alumna June Pulcini for her vision in creating this speaker series and for her lifetime commitment and service to others. Thank you, June. And I practiced this, so gam un. And for anyone who wonders, that was thank you in Vietnamese. And for anyone who speaks Vietnamese, my apologies, because I'm pretty sure I butchered that based on the way Laylee just laughed. So I'm Ann Collier, and I'm the curator for the Cultural and Natural History Collections, which is formerly known as the Yeager Museum. Today, we welcome humanitarian and author Laylee Hayslip as our first influential voice. A little bit of background about Laylee. Laylee was 12 years old when U.S. helicopters landed in her village near Da Nang. She grew up in the center of the Vietnam War, which in Vietnam is referred to as the American War. She was surrounded by multiple warring parties. In her first book, When Heaven and Earth Change Places, Hayslip describes how she survived in the middle of a battleground between American armed forces and both the North and South Vietnamese armies, including the Viet Cong, which infiltrated her village. To say that her early life was not easy is an understatement, and Laylee did what she had to do to survive. And luckily for us, she's still with us, so survival is what it's at. Her book ends with her marrying an older U.S. soldier, and after some underhanded administrative negotiations, in 1970, when she was 20 years old, Laylee and two of her young sons moved to the United States, where she encountered cultural shock and a lot of prejudices. Remember, that was 5 years before the Vietnam conflict officially ended when she came to the United States. It also should be noticed that Laylee wrote this book with only a third grade education, and it's the first book published about the war from the Vietnamese perspective. To date, her award-winning book has been published in over 17 languages. The sequel, Child of War, Women of Peace, is an inspirational story of Laylee's struggles to heal old wounds between her adopted country and her birth country with the founding of her foundation, East Meets West. Oliver Stone's 1993 film, Heaven and Earth, is based on both books and completes his cinematic trilogy about the Vietnam War. Laylee has proven herself to be a woman of many interests and of many talents as a humanitarian, philanthropist, and peacemaker. In 1926, twice widowed and now with 3 young children, Laylee returned to Vietnam and was stunned by the devastation, poverty, and diseases left in the wake of the American-Vietnam War. She vowed then to make a change, and over the last 35 years, she's devoted herself to the children of Asia and to the building of a bridge of peace between the United States and Vietnam. With the creation of her 2 foundations, the formerly mentioned East Meets West and the Global Village Foundation, Laylee has worked with former soldiers, philanthropists, can't say that word, politicians, and diplomats to bring self-sustaining, healthy economies to rural villages that were pillaged both during and after the war. So Laylee, thank you and welcome, and thank you for being with us today.
Well, thank you for having me. It's fun. It's so happy to see friend and see June and hear about June, and I just love her so much that I'm just so honored to be a part of this celebration winning.
We should also mention that it's through June that we met you.
Oh,
That's
yes.
our connection.
Yes. Yeah, her and yeah, many of her old friends too.
Yeah, yeah. Which we got to know Gary, Studebaker earlier, one of our older friends.
Yes.
So let's start with your books. As I noted, you only have a third grade education from a village school in Vietnam. So how do you write a book, especially when a book is in a second language? Where do you get your wisdom? Where do you get your gumption? where do you get your drive?
Well, dream is free, but you have to have a dream before it can come true. And my dream is to share what Vietnamese people went through. Because when I came here in 1970, I lived with my husband family here in San Diego, and almost every member of the family it either joined Navy or been in Vietnam. And my husband, two sons, even been in Vietnam in Navy. And so they see the Vietnam and the war is totally different from where I come from, an opposite direction. And so when I talk about Vietnam or the war, they look at me and they say, "Oh, shame on you, Laylee, shame on you that your people killing our people." And I thought, just like, wow, how that can, thinking differently. So I had a lot of questions like, what do you know about us? How do you understand about the war like we do, from Vietnam? But my English is so little and my knowledge is none. And so I just keep pressing down and keep it in my heart. But I have answer. I don't have question. I just have a lot of answer, about the war and about the Vietnamese people and culture and how we grow up and what we went through. And so it's just a dream. It's just something inside of me that is it's just like you have a baby. You have to give birth. And so I try very hard and looking for an agent and looking for a co-writer who can help me. And so, again, if you want something bad enough, it can happen. You pray at the one thing, but if you ask people to help me, and it's a true story for deliverers for the world. Then there's people ready for help to help me.
So you said if you want something bad enough, did I hear correctly that your book was rejected 21 times before it was picked up by a publisher?
Yes. Because in those days, when the letter come back and say, we're not interested in enemy side of the story, or Vietnam is not in our interest, or our people is not ready for this kind of language or books. Right. And so, but it's just like the more they reject, the more I want to do. Because this is something it needs to be told. It needs to be shared. Because, Vietnam, we had 5,000 years of culture. We fought 1,000 years against the Chinese, hundreds of the French, Japanese, the Mexican, but then the Chinese again. And yes, nobody say anything. And now, I just trying so hard to tell the story, and everybody just saying, no, we don't want it. And so more they reject it, the more I'm trying harder to get it published.
That's fortitude. I don't know if I'd have that much strength as you do. What was your elevator pitch? What was the pitch to get Doubleday to listen to you?
Oh, in 1985, I had a restaurant, and one of my customers come in and she asked me, "Hey, Laylee, did you see this in a newspaper?" And she showed me it's an article in San Diego Union newspaper. And she said, "Here, it's a writing conference in La Jolla. You need to go." And I said, "Really? But God, $375 for the weekend is a lot of money." And, but it's just something, I have to go. So we went there for the first day, nobody paying attention, everybody too busy. Then the second day, which is Saturday, and they break up a small group and share, they give you 10 minutes to sell your books. And my English is just not that good, and I don't know what to say. But, you know, I say, here, this is my story. You know, I come from Vietnam. I've been tortured. I've been raped. I've been execution. I've been through this and that, you know. And everybody say, because most people, they try to sell the book like how to quit smoking, how to lose weight, how to get a good divorce, you know, things like that. And here I come from with all that heavy duty on me, and I just present the way it is. And then, you know, nobody pay any attention, and they gone. And then the next day, that night, I come home, I really pray. I really get down my knee and cry my heart out because nobody pay any attention to me. And then the next morning, everybody get together. There's about 300-400 people. And then again, I just stand up here, that 4 feet 10 inches tall lady, I weigh about 90 pounds, and I just in tears, I said, this is my life. I grew up in Vietnam, in war, you know, and I just want you to take a look at it. Some Vietnam veterans who work in the Population House, they are teachers. And they, you know, afterward, before everything shot, come to me, they say, I would like to see your manuscript to work with an agent. And so he took me, introduced to my agent, Sandra Dijkstra. Then she introduced me to my co-writer, Jay Woods. Yeah. So everything, it happened within like about 10 minutes. All of that happened. And it just like luck. And I have to say, God is there, Buddha is there, ancestor is there, everybody is there, and listen to my prayer, because it meant to be, and it meant to be. So that is how I got started.
It's amazing. It was a Vietnam veteran too, of all the people that put out the hand to talk to you.
Yes. Yeah. But you know, so I had to do something.
Yeah. So that was in 1985, and then the following year you returned to Vietnam, 16 years after you'd first left. So when you went back, you know, how did it look to you? What was it that affected you so much that you decided then and there you're going to change things?
Yeah, in 86, I went back to Vietnam. At that time, I owned a restaurant. And, you know, I served 100-200 people every day. And my 3 children at home, would go to bed without dinner, right? Oh. But then you see the ways, and you see the people, you know, it's give me a hard time because the food is too cold, or it's not hot enough, or whatever, right? And then here in Vietnam, people are starving, right? In 1986, people in Vietnam were starving. Right. And so when I come back from Vietnam, I could not function. I just like lost it. I don't have any energy. I don't have any motivation to run a restaurant, a beach house, 3 kids, and all of that. And I thought I had to change. So first thing first, I get rid of my restaurant. But then what I'm gonna do now? So long story short, I went back in 88. At that time, the Doubleday already accepted manuscript. I mean, take the book. Yeah. But I had to go back to Vietnam with a group of veterans for peace. And this gave me a chance to lay the groundwork with the Vietnamese government, because by myself, I don't know where to go, what to do. But with 20 veterans in the group, and journalists and photographers, you know, it would be a big group. So I went with them. Then after they left, after 2 weeks, they gone, then I stayed another 2 weeks. And that is when I went see an astrologer. And an astrologer, I come to him and I asked, you know, about writing this book. I run around and asked me, what the purpose are you writing this book? I say, oh, I share my life story, what happened to me and my family and my people. And then, are you gonna try to blame anyone? Or you try to make it even with some, or you trying to do because of your somebody did bad thing to you? I said, no, I just want to share. And he said, good, make sure that you say it honestly and not hating anyone, not blaming anybody, because that's the way it was And your mission is to deliver this message. You tell the story where you can put a healing, you can uplift in people, you can help people to understand what the war is all about. But you cannot cut anybody or blame on anyone or hate anyone while you're writing this. So then I come back and then I have to meet with my co-writer, Jay Wood, and what the message is. And he kindly enough to follow my advice, and the book come out just to where it's supposed to be.
That's a good writing partner. That's a good writing
Yes.
partner.
Yes.
Okay, so you almost touched on it there when you were working with the U.S. soldiers. Is that when you got the idea to create the foundation East Meets West?
Yes, because I traveled with them in 1988. That is 20 years after, 1968.
Mm-hmm.
So it's 20 years. So we went back in Way, and we have a big celebration for Tet, Tet offensive. Now 20 years they come back, and here I was thinking of us and about 10, 12 veterans in the group, and journalists and the talk and all that. And here one Viet, he come in with all the dress on him that he like a Viet Cong or North Vietnamese military, and he come and he just what who he is, right? And everybody know it, and everybody really sit in there and say, oh no, la la la. But then we start into drinking and talking and introduce each other, and then they have so much fun and everybody laughing. And to me, it's a healing. To me, it's just something, it breaking through, and no more enemy, no more Vietnam, no more American, no more you and me. It's just like us together. Room, we have dinner, we have beer, we have fun, we sing, we dance, we laugh and cry. And to me, this is healing. So yes, I cannot bring them back without a non-profit foundation in those days, because embargoes, that is, I learned a lot about embargoes. So that is another thing that I really need to do something. So that is where foundation born. And Jung was one of the board members, and she helped a lot. Yes.
So speaking back to the embargo, for those who are not aware, the U.S. Put an embargo against Vietnam that lasted almost about 20 years after the war.
20 years. 20 years, yeah. So
when you're dealing with this government now, and you've got an embargo, and you're in the United States, and there's a 15-hour time difference, how did you manage to pull this off in an era before email, before the internet? How did you manage to pull off everything?
I just see that I have a little bit of I thought I uploaded in my berry, but I didn't. So I had to go get my berry, and I'm so sorry. But in those days, when I have one sheet of paper and fax it to the NAN office, you have to fax it from here to Australia. It's $12 a page.
Oh yeah.
Australia, they fax it to Vietnam, another $10. So $22 each time, one fax, one page to fax to Vietnam. And then you cannot make a phone call. And if you have something, you have to fax, or you call Australia and have Australia call it to Vietnam. And that is how you get the but it's just something in you that is make you do things that you forget about the hardship, forget about things that normally you don't think about it.
Right.
But I saw enough, I witnessed enough, I have a feeling for it, and I need to do something. So
yeah. Why don't you run and get your battery, and I'll just set up the situation for indoor and plumbing for you. And you get your battery, and I'll let them know.
Okay.
So another situation that Laylee discovered when she went back there, which she realized later on made sense, was that there was no indoor plumbing. So when she would go back there as a guest and visit with her family to go to the bathroom, she had to go outside and up the hill. So one of the things she wanted to bring to her village, and her village first, was the conveniences that we take for granted here in the United States. So if you want to talk about having to bring in indoor plumbing and just a lack of a better word, a toilet to your brother.
Well, my brother is a Communist Party. And so he have to be very careful who he talking to. So when he be with me, he know that people following him, take every picture in every angle, make sure that they take note. And he knew all this. And so he keep telling me, yeah, be careful with what you say, because, you just not like an American, then you just say everything you want to say. So I be careful. But sometimes I call him from international when I travel around to promote the movie or the books. And I get call him all time. And I don't know if somebody listening or not. I just need to call. So I asked him to give me some budgets. How much one toilet will cost. And I want to start out with 100 toilets for the village. But then, I don't know, he did or he didn't. But next time I come home and he asking me, oh, it's some kind of CIA code that you try to ask me. Because everybody thinks I work for CIA. And when anything that they don't understand why this woman want to build a toilet, with it nonsense to them. And so, and I think it's fun. I laugh about it even today, but in those days, it's serious stuff. The toilets, it haven't been built until recently when Bill Gates funded it. Then we not just only build the toilet in Vietnam and Cambodia and Laos as well. But just something like that. It just, it's a human mind. I don't know what I have in my mind, in my heart. They just worry about to protect Vietnam. And, they went through all that fighting. They cannot have another CIA come in and mess them up,
I just love the idea that 100 toilets could be a CIA code.
Well, you never know. CIA can do a lot of the stuff.
Yeah, it's true. So you mentioned Bill Gates with your foundation. So as a nonprofit ourselves, we're reliant 100% on donations in my unit at the university. How do you get Bill Gates to donate money to you?
Well, we not only have Bill Gates, we also have World Bank, have SSBC Bank, we have a millionaire, many places. But that after I left East Midwest, because I think Chuck Finney,
yeah,
who the founder of the duty free,
right,
yeah, corporation. That is who a billionaire, and start to give out 100 million a year for 10 years, and that is when I think Bill Gates and other people get on board and come and help the East Midwest. And so you speak English, you can write to him, you can call him up, here in Seattle, so you can able to go to him, I'm sure.
I'll let him take care of the children of the world. I think his money is better served there, but I'll take a percentage of it.
Yeah.
You mentioned that I've got the ice cream truck going by, so I really apologize. I hope everybody can hear me. Or like Laylee, maybe I'll run out and get an ice cream and I'll just say it's my battery. But you said that your brother is still with the Communist Party, and you've been accused of being a communist here in the United States. And there's been times when you've been asked to speak at local universities and colleges, and you've had people protest and make it difficult for you. That's current in today's climate, where certain people have been invited to universities and there's been issues with it, and those speakers cancel. And your life has been threatened and you don't cancel. And why is that?
I've been through so much. And if I not died then, I maybe die now. I only can die once. And if I can go out and serve for humanity, and my message, it can help one person to wake up or to heal or to change their life or doing something. And if I die, that I am afraid of, I die sooner or later, I die anyway. But if I haven't be dead yet, I mean, I'm here for purpose. It's to just to share the story, to information. It need to be shared, and why not? So cancer, it lot of the people, students, especially Vietnamese students in Texas. We're in Texas, and they bring me in. And they brought me back to the airport, sit with me to make sure that I get on airplane before then they can go home. And while we're talking, and they say, "Oh, Mrs. Hayslip, you're so nice and you're so kind. Why my family hate you so much?" I said, "Oh, you asked them." And they said, "You must do something because nobody here like you. We cannot bring your name up into our family. Because every time we tell our family about you, they got so angry and they got so upset." And I said, "That is why I'm here. I just want you to know who I am and what I am is all about." And so they said, "That's why we want to make sure you come and you go home safe because we're so afraid that maybe they kill you, something like that." I mean, it's very intense. And I feel so sorry for those young student, because they're naive. They come from here, they read my book, they learn about the war in their classroom. But they have no idea why their parents hate me so much. And so they get to know me, and we spend 2-3 days together, and they're just like my own children. And I have no problem with the younger generation, but the parents protest and make own kind of noise and call me own kind of name, and oh my goodness. But that is why I'm not cancel my lecture. Needed.
So you to tap into that, when you go to Vietnam, isn't there accusations that you're with the CIA over there?
Of course, that is one pocket, because I was born in between, okay, between heaven and earth, between south and north, between war and peace, between my father and my mother, okay. So anything that I walk in between, that is me. I'm sure that another million of Vietnamese in same situation. The problem is nobody can speak up like stupid me. And so here I don't know any better, and I speak up and I do things, and I just start into the non-profit foundation and write a book and make into a movie. Nobody think like me. So of course they have the right to think I am the CIA. And the people here say, how can she go there? How can she do all of that work when embargoes, where United States not allow anybody go to communist country? And if she can do that, she must work for the communists. But then when I'm in Vietnam, they say, nobody did that. Why? Why stupid woman, either she crazy, she's so rich, or she work for CIA to come here to doing something. And so, hey, they have their right. But one thing keep me going is don't do stupid things. Like don't laundry the money, don't, be a spy, don't do the thing that it's not you here to do. I am do one thing is to serve for humanity, for people who need our help the most. I refinanced my house many times, and even with the money from the book and the movie, I put on back in Vietnam. I give everything, and that is all I can do. Only prove myself what I'm there for and what I'm here to do. And so as long that I am walking between, I don't take any side, I don't do anything that I'm not supposed to do, but then I'm safe. I know there is heaven, and there is earth, and there is God, and there is Buddha, and there is that people will look after me if I do a right thing. That's all I go for.
So where do you get that inner strength?
We all do have it. We all have it in ourselves. But like lucky you, you born here in California, beautiful face, blonde hair, blue eye. You don't have anything to worry. So you never brought that out. But people like me, we barefooted, it's cold in winter, hot in summer. We have no clothes, we have no food. The wars come in, you don't have a chance to go to school. I mean, you have to learn how to survive when you're 3 years old, 5 years old, then 10 years old. So that you build up. If you have to do like me or live through like I had been, you have that, and you can do the same. And so one thing that I can say that is people here is very pampered. They have everything offered to each individual. I know there's some hard life and some single mother and 2, 3 children and, you know, went through very tough time. I went through that too. And asked just some house cleaning here for $2.50 per hour and babysit for 50 cents per hour and all of that. But, you know, it's what keeping me going. And is it for survival? It's for my 3 children? Yes, I would do anything and everything. And my mother always say, you sick, you die. You starving, you die. But you work very hard, you never would die from hard working. So I remember that, and I just work. And it doesn't matter what happened outside, as long that my children taken care of, myself being safe, I'm okay. So strength from within, each one of us do have that. And each one of us, if need to bring it out, is there for you to use it.
Yeah, I often say that Americans don't really understand freedom because we were born into freedom, that we think freedom is, you know, I get to go out and say my thoughts to anybody and we're a free country. Whereas you definitely understand the difference between a free country and not a free country.
Yes. Freedom, it gives you to think over here that I adapt was the free of speech.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you anything that in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Freedom
Yeah,
is to, the freedom is to give me that I get in my car and I go and I can come home at 1 o'clock in the morning and no curfew. The freedom is no bomb dropping down me and the gun pointing at me and, you know, all of those things. That is the freedom that I am appreciate, and I am honored to be a good U.S. citizen to live here. But the rest of it, I can live without.
So having been here since the 1970s, well, since 1970, what is it you've assimilated? What is it you've chose not to adopt? What do you?
Well, things like waste a lot of stuff. You buy things for winter and you throw it away in summer, and you buy something in summer, you throw it away in fall. That I won't adopt. The thing that hatred, you get angry on everything, you blame on everyone else but you.
Yeah.
The thing is, you know, again, a lot of freedom. You put your energy sometimes in wrong place. Instead of seeking for spirituals, seeking for a way of to help others, thinking a way how can make a better world for the future, looking for the thing it really help each other and help the future generation. But no, you know, it's just too much on the TV, on advertisements, and on sports, and I mean, it's just so much. Look at holiday, every holiday, people spend so much money that you have to work so hard and depressed and pressure just to pay the bill.
Yeah.
You know, it's just very hard for me to adapt. You, when you waste and you waste, and you say, oh, I'm broke. Oh, okay. What I'm gonna do? And come from as a farmer like us, you have to save everything.
Yeah.
You have to reuse everything. You recycle on everything, and you appreciate everything that Mother Earth provides to you, and you have it, and keep it for yourself and for your family, and share with your neighbor and friend. You know, if you travel to Vietnam, even though they're very poor, they have nothing. But yet they opened up their arm to you and they invite you to a house and you sit down and they go and take the chicken and kill it just for you so you can have lunch with it, you know, and they show the appreciation as a human being, as a connection, as a brother and sisters for, you know, universe. And so it's, to me, thing like that, I want to give what I have.
It's interesting that's in your perspective it's giving, whereas in other perspectives it's being in service to another person. Would you say it's the same thing when you give of yourself?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, we're here just to do one thing, is to serve and for mankind. Either you be mother, or you be house cleaning, or you be pilot, or you be doctor or lawyer. You serve. Without another human being, you cannot serve.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not a well-educated person. I don't have any skill. I only can keep my honest, healthy body and my mind. No one can brainwash me, and no one put the gun point at me and say, you must do this or you must stop doing that. So as long that I have that freedom, I can able to serve.
Then
And
how did you navigate when the Hollywood world of when your film came out, when you would see, I mean, that would had to have been a pretty shallow or outlandish kind of world with waste. How did it feel going around with them?
Well, they're also human.
Yeah.
They're nice.
Yeah.
They also have a soul. You know, if I cannot communicate with their physical level, I communicate with their soul. And they show me their compassion. Every one of us have compassion within ourselves. And if you can touch in that point where the moment of the compassion, they will show it to you, their compassion.
And didn't Oliver Stone also donate and help out with your foundation?
Yes, he's just like a brother to me. And yeah, he's, you know, he get to know you and he get to trust you, and, you know, then he okay. But it's very hard to get into Hollywood crowd. But I don't ask for anything. I don't want anything. I just want to do what it needs to be done.
Right.
And so, yeah, he become very good friend and very good supporter.
So that said, what are the most important things in your life?
Well, I was a former daughter, then become a wife, three men, give birth to three sons, write two books that I call like a daughter, two daughters, and making a movie and all that. There's somebody out help me out. I couldn't do that much. Someone like Jung who helping me to have two foundation and help a lot of Vietnamese people. And so for me to humble enough to go out and ask someone like Jung to please help me, to serve on my board, travel with me to Vietnam, write me a check, trust me, that is honor.
Yeah.
If I am not here, I could not ask for help. And if I am crooked, I'm cheater, I'm no good, no one will trust me, no one will help me, then Vietnamese people would not benefit from it. And so I wish I can do more. If my English like you, if I can be educated like you, I can write more books, I can do more things for the world. But I'm 70 now, and that much that I can do, as much as the best that I can do, just that.
Well, just so you know, with my English and my education, I've never published any books or had a film about my life. So let's just put that on the table. Oh my gosh. Global Village. We haven't spoken about the Global Village Foundation. We've talked about East Meets West. Let's talk a little bit about what that foundation does and why you came up with that one as a second foundation.
Yeah, after East Meets West, I have a lot of money, be very successful, and run at a big corporation. And I know where the money went, I see where the work go, but it's not really go into red roots like Jung and many other volunteers before, work directly to recruit local Vietnamese villages. Because back in those days, if you build a big general hospital, there was no equipment, with no good doctor. There was no, a lot of things. So you build a building, it's good, but it's gonna run down and So I see that, okay, now I have a lot of money and everybody go after the money and can do a lot more for Vietnamese. Just let it be. Let it take care of itself. They run itself. It's successful. I'm very happy. Then I remove myself. And I started the Global Village Foundation, which is focused on education. We set up library. Because now I can see that, yeah, you can build on that facility, and if you have no educated people to run it, what good it do? So then I come back, I started, okay, we educate the children so they can, learn, and that is when Jung donated a lot of money for the library. So library, and we also did a lot of good for the bridges, in poor villages, like where I grown up. We don't have a good bridge to walk over, and every year, just like this year, you see how many floods go to Vietnam, and a lot of people get killed. And so we start to have a volunteer from Singapore come in to build the houses and bridge and road and well and toilets, paper, all of those things. So we did a lot of that. So Global Village Foundation also work in Sri Lanka, where the tsunami happened, Thailand, after tsunami, India, even in Myanmar.
Yeah, what I noticed about Global Village was interesting. It was like the Industrial Revolution, when everybody left the farms to go into the big city after Vietnam War, and Vietnam started being built up and outside countries started coming in, people were leaving the villages again and their farms to go into the big city. Yeah. And I thought it was interesting that you focused on the village, that you were bringing back the word sustaining. Before that was a big buzzword. You started making these self-sustaining and making the economy come back to the local villages so that they could stay where they are and prosper.
Yeah, because I came from there. I know what is need, you know. And I left my village when I was 14. Went first to Da Nang and then went to Saigon. It's just like a tree that poured off from the root. And plant me in a city. I don't know how to turn on the electricity. I don't know how to use the indoor plumber. I don't know, anything. And so I went through that. And then I came from Vietnam, a war tour country, to San Diego in 1970. It's just like I left the earth and went to moon.
Yeah.
Right? And so now if I come back and I see the children in a village, it's just like I was way back in 1950. Why not just give them a little reading books and give them, something, and to entertain them and help them and give them a job? And there are so much it need to do.
If you had a chance to get a message out to the world that you want the world to hear, what would it be?
I think we need to focus more outside the world, because what happened out there is what happened to us here too. Mm-hmm. It's just like here in Escondido this year, my temperature grow up in 120 degrees here. Right. It's hot, right? I went back to Vietnam, and on the rice paddy that it used to grow rice and vegetable, today it's on concrete. Because 5-star hotel, resources, and even my own village, no more rice, nothing, but just building, concrete, and destroy the beauty of Vietnam.
Yeah.
But who invested, the wealthy people from here. They go there and they invest the money. So the money, it's good to have, but the big corporation, and they destroy the beauty of the land out there. So, we all learned that. And what I with the younger generation, with it, we already see for the last 2-3 weeks now, that they're the one that take it over and make a difference. They're the one that can travel and can learn and can say, hey, this is not going to work anymore. We have to do better. We have to do differently. We have to create something to educate another young people in another country where they can grow tree, where they can grow the chicken, where they can plant rice, and where they can run earth over and make it green again, and not just building and building and building. The more you build, the more money somebody else gonna make. Farmer can play, they sit there and they look at each other all day because they have no land to work on, which is sad. And so, who am I to tell right or wrong? But you ask a question, I would like to educators like you and many others give young people a chance, train them well here, send them out there because they know how to help the third world country.
Yeah.
And let them take it over and teach others what you teach them from here. We have to be simple. We have to be a model. We have like so that they can go out and help others, and we can depend on the young generation can do better than my past. I hope.
I think also when you go out and if they're going to go out there and help others, they're going to get something back in return. Because if you're helping someone else, it's just a good feeling at the end of the day. So it's not like they're just giving of themselves; they're getting something, and that comes back to them.
That's right. Yeah. Every time I give a lectures at the university and colleges, I always give them advice at the end is, don't fall in love, don't get married, but just get on your backpack and go. Go outside the United States, travel freely. So this way you know who is out there, what are they doing, and if they have a war, if the Americans send them there, they have to know who are they fight again and why.
Yeah.
And if we have more friends than enemy, we have a better world.
Right.
If we have better understanding and better to get to know one another, it will be much more compassionate to each other than just fighting and fighting. You know, it's not work anymore. 21st century is different.
Yeah.
21st century, you're going to be more intelligent people. The young going to grow up and take it over, and they're going to run the way it should be. I hope.
We all hope. Yeah. We're about running out of time. We've got a lot of questions. So I'm going to turn it over to my director, Dr. Felicia Beardsley. She's the director of the Cultural and Natural History Collections. And then we'll get back to the questions as my kind friend brings them all over to me to look at them.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Yes.
Well, thank you, everybody. I want to thank you all for joining us today, but don't go away yet, right? There's a lot more to come. Well, not too much more because we're running out of time, but consider this sort of a brief interlude to sort of stand up and stretch. I'm Felicia Beardsley. I'm the director of the Cultural and Natural History Collections at University of Laverne. And I really want to thank Laylee for agreeing to be our first speaker in this brand new series on influential voices. And a huge thank you to June Pulcini, who brainstormed this series and provided the first seed funding. Also, I want to thank Anne, who's not just our interviewer, but she's a curator for the collections, as well as Randy Miller, who is the coordinator for our speakers series. We're going to be hosting another dialogue in the spring, but we don't know yet who we're going to invite, so surprise, right? And for those of you who are new to us, the Cultural Natural History Collections is the original museum of the university. We have been around for as long as the university has been around, since 1891, so like 129 years, okay? We now house over 100,000 objects that represent the history of our planet, literally the history of our planet. But here's the part, and this is the key part, we run solely on donations. So if you're so inclined, please feel free to open those pocketbooks, donate to us. I'm going to put a link in our chat to, that that takes you directly to our donations page. And consider this kind of that perfect time for that gift that keeps on giving, right? It allows us to continue to meet our mission, to the care, the conservation of our collective history of the world, and really to foster shared experiences like this one that resonates across generations, because we've got people from multiple generations already joining us. And this also allows us to envision a more united community. So please donate. I'm going to put the link in the chat. Once again, thank you for joining us. I'm now going to turn it back to Laylee and to Anne and those questions from you. So you guys take it away.
Well, thank you for this opportunity. You did a great job. Thank you.
Oh, you're so adorable. All right, so we have 6 minutes and 5 questions. So you ready for rapid questions?
Yes.
Okay, so from Dr. Al Clark, do you lecture in Vietnam? If so, what kind of groups?
I lecture in Vietnam only very few private university, because the Vietnamese government is not really key on my talk, because number one, I don't have PhD, and number two, I am nobody. So they don't want me to say a wrong thing, I guess. But no, yeah, so I don't really give a speech in Vietnam too much. A few private university or at this American Center at the embassy.
So same from Dr. Clark. What does your brother and his Communist Party friends think about what you are doing?
Not much different. I don't know what they think. We never ask. But in Vietnamese, we say that is thức đêm mới biết đêm dài. That means you stay up all night before you can tell how long the night is.
Yeah.
So I have been working there over 35 years, since 1988 to now. I had nothing. I stay in a hotel for $25 a night on the beach. Then 1 week, 2 weeks, I finish, I shut the door, I turn in the key, and then I go home. So they know that I am not go there to buy the land and build up the hotel and, do all kind of funny stuff. So whatever they think, I honestly, what you don't know.
And plus, in our conversations, you and your brother talk about you and your brother and your lives. You don't talk about political affiliations. You're just family talking about family.
Right, yeah, because the thing is, it's so much different. How did he understand what American is all about?
Right.
And I have no idea or concept of what the communist is like.
Right.
I am born to work and to serve. I am not in politician and I'm not interested. I'm just serve. As long as people need me, I serve.
So nice. Okay, so from Peggy Redmond, who we spoke to earlier, what was it like to work with Oliver Stone on the story of your life?
Oh, yeah, it's fun. It's hard work. It's fun. And, this is 30 years ago, almost. Yeah, 1993. He absent my book in 1989. So, yeah. Well, he a tough, he a hard worker. I mean, he very go and get it. But hey, I'm the same way. So we got along all good. We still good friend. I turned him into Buddhist. and he came to Escondido, stay with me a couple of nights when we joined to go to Deer Park Monastery. So it's fun, it's hard work, and I will, learn a lot of good experience from him. And also my 2 sons, that he helped them out, and so they become somebody.
Oh, I didn't know that part. That's nice. That was fun for me to learn.
Yes.
All right, so from Gary Studebaker, why are some of the encouraging sharing moments that resulted in someone finally grasping a what? I don't think is that right? I'm reading this wrong, but some of the encouraging sharing moments that resulted in someone finally grasping a truth which led to an appreciation for a former enemy. So how do you have appreciation for a former enemy, and what do you do to show others appreciation, like the US soldiers coming back and working to rebuild your land that's their former enemy?
They were very young when they traveled to Vietnam. Most of them don't even know where Vietnam is, or what Vietnamese people look like, or how, they get there. They
Yeah.
just volunteer and go because the U.S. government asked them to go. I had 3 sons, and now I had 2 grandsons. I understand where they're coming from. I lived here for 50 years. So I can see that these people come from this country, they are very naive. They have
Oh
a
yeah.
good heart, good soul, willing to give their life up and go. It doesn't matter Vietnam or Middle East or Central America or wherever Americans say, government say go. They get on airplane, they go. When they get there, we little people, we uneducated, we farmer. We have a good heart, we have a good soul, we don't want them there. We don't want to fight, we don't want to kill them. But we did, we kill each other. So now I'm living here on American land. I appreciate everything Americans have offered me. Educate me well. Only thing I can give back to those young men is to bring them back. Let me show you what Vietnamese people are like.
Yeah.
What is our motherland can offer you? Beautiful nature, and that is a healing. The Vietnamese people opened up their arms, welcomed them back just like a long lost brother. Treat them just like a hero. Be nice and kind to them. Even the homeless veteran, no matter what condition they are, we treat them as the same as we treat our own people. And that is what I'm very proud to say, that the Vietnamese culture. We don't know how government treat them, but so far brought many groups back, just like Jung, she can tell that herself, that how Vietnamese people treated her and Marvin and many other of her friends. So the healing and to do the humanitarian work is the same as you do for yourself, like you don't want other people to hate you. And I don't want to hate anybody, and I don't want anybody to hate Vietnamese. That is past. The war is over. We need to grow. We need to progress. We get in order. We need to forgive. We need to move on. We need to be kind to one another. The younger generation need us, and we need to help them and pull them up and give them little hope for the future. That's all we can do.
That tags on to Gary's other question is, do you ever go to elementary schools and talk to children about friendship and conflict resolution?
I go anywhere that people ask me to go. Yes, anywhere. Yes, if he invite me, he tell me to go there, I go there. Most of the time at high school, college, and university. But
Right.
yeah.
One other comment here, George Keeler's just noting that the time that he went over to Vietnam with a couple people from the University of Laverne, like Randy Miller, who's a friend of yours, and Ken Brown, and used your book, When Heaven and Earth Changed Places, as their textbook.
Oh, yes.
Isn't that
Thank
nice?
you. Yes. By the way, I just received a good side of royalty yesterday for...
Oh. So keep using it as a textbook.
Yeah, that's right. That's why I can, it's very steady, and I'm very glad that you use my book in college, because everybody had read that book, tell me, to say, I learned a lot about Vietnam through your book, and I'm so grateful. You see, third grade education, if you should do 10 books like that, and
Yeah, I struggle just with this paper. Are you kidding? So we have Carolyn, I hope I don't, Carolyn Lee or Lay. She's saying, thank you for your words of wisdom. She's a first generation Vietnamese American, first in her family to go into healthcare, and she'll be part of the first graduating cohort at the U of V Laverne physician assistant program this December, which amazing. She's always wanted to help the Vietnamese community and wonders if you have any recommendations for health organizations that she can get involved in once she's a PA, a physical.
Oh, wow. Yeah, maybe you can give her my phone number and she can call me, and then we can share, because
Okay.
I have something would like to talk to her too. Yes.
Okay, Caroline, I'm so sorry if I'm saying it wrong. I hate when people say my name wrong. If you can email me at acollier, COLLIER @laverne.edu, I'll send over to you Laylee's information so you can get a hold of her. And Laylee, I just want to thank you so much for everything, for all of our conversations, and for all the help you've given us, and for being our first influential voice. I can't think of anyone who has a better voice and is more influential than you. And I do want to thank June Pulcini again and Randy Miller for all this hard work in getting the word out there as our coordinator, and for my boss, Felicia Beardsley, for putting up with me, and for everybody who joined us today. I really appreciate the time that you've given us. And Laylee, I'm going to thank you.
Thank you for giving me an opportunity. And last word, I want to say that thank you, Jung. I would not meet any of you without Jung. And Jung is just like my oldest sister. She met both of my sisters, and my oldest sister gonna pass over any day now. And so every time, I mention about Jung over in Vietnam, they all laugh about her water bed, because 4 of us, my mother, my 2 sisters, and myself, sleep on Jung's water bed. And Jung just stand there and watch, and then laugh, and we're just so much fun. And now, everybody getting old, so I haven't seen Jung as much, but I just say thank you. And because I'm so excited, I speak very loudly, and I speak fast. And
you're talking to the queen of both.
That anybody can understand me, I hope, yes. Because my accent is too strong, even though I've been here 50 years.
No, you're as clear as day. I understand everything you say.
Oh, good.
All right. So thank you everybody again for joining us, and we hope you'll join us in the spring for our next unknown speaker. We'll find someone hopefully that leads up to as high as Laylee has lived her life. And I hope you guys have a great day. And for those of you in Southern California, drive safely on the roads. We don't understand that wet stuff coming from the air, so please drive safely and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody, and continue to have a good time and celebration and everything, okay? We're good.